something like Overpass to get B2B leads. That's really, really valuable. But in this example, we are using API requests to activate another workflow within the same workspace. And that's really, really cool. In fact, in the Node library, you will find sub workflow. Look at this. There's an action, execute a sub workflow, and there is also a trigger when executed by another workflow. Typically, I prefer the API call version of this, do use an API call and a custom webhook to execute a sub workflow in the same workspace, just because that way we can keep all of the workflows in the same workspace. With the execute a sub workflow node, those ones will only let you do one in the same workspace, and that is simply because they work based on your workflow ID, which is this little bit of your URL in there. Let's go ahead and drop one in just so you can see what I mean. Now, if we wanted to put in a sub workflow for it to execute, because it works based on this workflow ID here, let's copy that from list by ID, and there we have it. Now, if we only had one sub workflow in workspace, then this would work to activate this sub workflow and go ahead and execute it. The reason I prefer API calls and custom webhooks to this is you can have more than one in the same workflow. And you'll see in this lesson, we have like 4 or 5. So really, really cool. Still a valuable node. Just I prefer to have all my sub workflows in the same workspace. It's just how I prefer to organize. Simplest possible request. Okay, so we are going to get this URL because that is the URL that listens for our API call. Now, the HTTP method basically tells us how the data is transferring between in this request. Commonly, a post request is how you send data to that external service.